G'day ladies and gentlemen, it's your man mate Yorick, and I have just assumed your genders again. Not that it makes any difference, but for those of you who are easily offended, probably a good idea to stop this video right now. For those of you who are even mildly interested, hit the subscribe button, punch the bell indicator thingy, so when I release videos you'll be the first ones to find out, because the stuff we talk about, oh, it's just earth-shattering. We're going to change this channel is going to change the world. I don't know how, I don't know if it's going to be for the better, I'm not making any promises, but you know, it's always good to have a dream. Anyway, today, I don't know, I'm just cruising around, as you can see, and I'm just sort of thinking to myself, you know, these days we have all these activists, we have all these people marching in the streets and screaming and yelling for all different sorts of things, and they're fighting for other people's rights. They're fighting so that other people can have a better life. And I'm starting to ask, what fight? Who for? What rights? From whether it be Indigenous people, through to women's rights, through to gay rights and all that. Like, what are you fighting for? If you live in one of the freest countries in the world, like I'm so fortunate to do, unless you're fighting for these rights in the Middle East and some of these third world places, you need to take a good hard look at yourself and STFU. Like, really, what is the point of a third wave feminist somewhere like Australia? You show me one right that men have that women don't. And the only thing I seem to be able to glean from them is that, well, now that women have all the same rights, they want equal representation in a lot of fields. But let's be honest, it's primarily politics and high-paid executive jobs. Because you never hear a third-wave feminist screaming that it's unfair that there are more boy bricklayers than there are girl ones. Or that there's more girl nurses than boy nurses. Like, you're either fighting for equality or you're fighting for yourself. And the other thing they have is now, you know, you put a feminist up against a gay rights trans activist, because now they're put in the same category together, and how do you scream for equal representation? How can you say, well, we need just as many women as men in, let's say, Parliament, when we don't really know how to define it anymore? Like, at least when women were saying, oh, we should have more women in Parliament, we knew what that meant, basically. And not trying to be crude about it, but it just meant more vaginas on the floor. These days that doesn't apply, because just having, like, you no longer need to have the requisite sexual paraphernalia. He says, trying to use another term other than genitalia. But you don't have to have the biological bits in order to claim to be a woman. So would a trans bloke, or someone who was a bloke who became a woman, get voted into Parliament over and above a woman? Is that what they're fighting for? I just don't know. You know, and then we've got other ones. Like, I live in the state of Victoria. Australia's like the southern state, bottom right-hand corner of the country. And we are spending millions of dollars on a committee to create a treaty between the people of Victoria and the 30 or so Indigenous tribes of Victoria. Like, I'm sure, I mean, I don't watch the news every day, I don't buy a newspaper every day, but I like to keep myself informed, and I'm pretty sure someone would have said something to me if we were at war. I would have heard something, I'd see something. So what is this treaty going to do? I mean, I can appreciate that, you know, some people did some pretty crap things to the Aboriginals for many years, many generations even. But in 1967, as a country, we recognised that era and we changed it. We changed the way Australia operate, not just views our Indigenous people. You know, we didn't say, okay, well, yes, you have a right to exist, but we're going to still have a separate set of rules for you. They gained every right that any Australian citizen had. And once again, I challenge anyone to list one right available to me as a European, as Australian, or an Australian of European descent, because really I'm just as Indigenous as anybody else. I was born here. I don't know what life is like anywhere else. I've, you know, haven't lived in any other part of the world. I was born in the city I live in. You know, so show me the systemic segregation. I just don't know what these activists are after. I really, from my mind, they should grow a pair of balls. In fact, you know what, sad story, there was a woman, Somali journalist, and she went back to Somalia. You know, she came over to America as a refugee, and she went through college and she became a journalist, and she went back to Somalia to show people what a wonderful place it truly was, until she was kidnapped by a bunch of terrorists and killed. You know, maybe we need to send these activists over there to stop this sort of brutal violence. Because half the time I honestly think these people have just had it too good for too long. And whether it's Australia, whether it's the US, whether it's the UK, whether it's parts of Western Europe, you know, they've just had it too good for too long, and they just don't appreciate what they've got. And, you know, let's be honest, it's been a long time since Australia has suffered the casualties of war like we did back through the 60s and 70s in Vietnam. You know, I don't know what these people want. Like, they tell you what they want. We want equality, we want inclusivity, we celebrate diversity, but there's got to be more to it than that, because we've got all of that. You know, short of telling people who they must maintain social relationships with, short of telling people where they can or can't spend their hard-earned dollars, all these activists have got everything they wanted somewhere like here. They were saying a number of places around the world. I'm just wondering, you know, do these people, these activists, understand that at the rate they're going, there's no difference between them and the Bolsheviks that promised the workers' utopia and created the Soviet Union, or Mao Zedong, who had the Great Revolution and turned China basically into what it is today. But you know, between a lot of them, they only had to kill 100 million people at the conservative end of the estimates, that is. So once again, if you've got any ideas, please leave a comment. I'd like someone to explain it to me. Otherwise, I will just keep telling these people that they are pointless and they should just go and get a job and shut the hell up. Leave the rest of us, because you know what? Most of us are just sensible. Most of us, you know what, we go to work in the morning, we come home in the afternoon, we raise our kids, teaching them right from wrong, and then you got these absolute knuckleheads insisting that we reinvent the wheel for no good reason. So there you go. That's my 2 cents. I'm sure I will find a new way to offend you next time we speak. But until then, you just go and enjoy crying in your pillow, if you're so inclined. That's me. Over and out. Ciao for now. Bye.